Core!
Boar!
A world door? What does it do?
You hit X and it takes you to different worlds.
Oh, so it looks like I have about
20.
between 4 to 6 pages of worlds.
That's 20.
If we were going to describe these worlds, it might take a good amount of time, but I think we could describe each world in 30 seconds. Are you up to the challenge?
29. 30 seconds. We'll do it in 30 seconds.
Starting off first with Wizard City, the very first world in the game. It's where you first get introduced into magic, and you learn about the characters and the teachers in the world. You learn about all the different schools of magic, and you find the first antagonist, Malistaire, who's just down bad for his wife, and he'll do anything to get her back.
Why not cast Sprite? The whole game could have been saved.
Sprite. Don't worry, that's what he does at level 50.
Oh, you're out of time. Crocotopia. You fight Mommy Crocopatra, and you free a bunch of slaves, I think. Can't remember.
You're chasing Malistaire here aimlessly because he's trying to find a thing called the Croconomicon to bring back his dead wife. You fight a bunch of lizards, bunch of alligators or crocodiles, and you get sand in your eye.
It's very dusty. Very sandy and dirty.
Very dusty, and it kicks it up a level because this is where you start fighting multiple enemies. Next is Marleybone, the third world. It's based around London, and it's dogs, and it's detectives.
Sherlock Bones.
And it's always nighttime for some reason.
You fight Meowiardia and go up a Big Ben tower, which is supposed to take 4 hours to finish, but it never really seems to take that long.
There's hooligans, and you come here because Malistaire did not find the Croconomicon in Crocotopia, and he's looking for it here. So it's really just the same plot as the previous world.
Bamboo Shoe is filled with bamboo and going through many forests of bamboo.
Mushu. It's Japanese themed. It's very pretty. Everything is dojos and samurais, people with swords.
Little bit of anime. And you fight a Jade Oni at the end.
The reason for coming to Mushu is Malistaire is going to Dragonspire. And the only way to get a key is the Emperor of Mushu. And he's sick. So this whole world is about getting this guy over a bad case of the sniffles. Dragonspire, the pinnacle of Arc 1. This is where, spoilers, you face down against Malistaire.
Stand aside, young wizard. You can't hope to stop me. Dark Sprite, 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 Dark Sprite.
It's a big jump up in power from everything before. The whole world, you're just trying to make it to Malistaire. So you go to one area just to unlock the next area, and it's bang, 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 bang.
Scary Dragon. Grizzle Tusk, the world that's not really worth doing because it gives you one level.
It's a side world. It's the first side world, and you don't really get much out of doing it.
Winter Tusk, on the other hand, a lot more worth doing.
This one is all about the story. Has a good story. You meet Grandmother Raven in Winter Tusk. You save her. It's all just plotting and infighting and kind of like Civil War. Birds, wolves, birds. That's it. Another side world, Wisteria. Court, are you having problems over there?
I'm having a hard time staying. Concentrate, you just go.
Oh, okay. Oh, are you talking about Bella Mama back there? Ooh. She's a baddie. This is a side world. You go into a wizarding contest, and you're trying to prove that you're the best young wizard in the spiral.
We get framed.
You get framed for a murder. Not really. And you win the trophy, go home.
You get the coolest badge in the game, A+ student, IMO.
It's the first A+ Core's had in his life.
Celestia, the world of enchants.
And fish, and sharks, and little goopy squid things, and the fish off Nemo that has the light.
Get the fist enchants.
This is the start of Arc 2, and you're introduced into a new villain, Morganth. And she is also a baddie, but she is also a bad woman. And you have to fight her, chase her. This is the start to a new saga. Next is Zafaria, Greyhorn Mercenaries.
You just fight a bunch of them, and you meet the biggest douche of the entire game, which is Belloc.
Belloc, the most repeated boss.
I think it's 4 times. You save a bunch of students, just complete moronic students who all got lost and kidnapped.
And then you get to the end of the world, chase after Morganth, get up with her at the end, and she gets to do what she wants to anyways. So you wasted your time saving a bunch of brats.
into Middelon, where you go back and forth 1 quintillion times.
Avalon, I hope you drank your water this morning and wore your walking shoes.
Bunch of Monty Python references. We like those. They're funny. However, the world's boring. You go back and forth.
Knights, dragons, other old-timey things.
Backtracking to the area you were in last.
Still chasing after Morganth. You have to go through the whole world to become a knight, unlock the Sword of Kings so that you can slay Morganth, and you still don't do it. You just save the king of the world. Azteca, spelt with 2 Z's. Core, this world, all you have to do is stop a comet from hitting the world. Will you please look behind me? After the quest line's over, what happens to said world? Another world like Zafaria, where you just completely fail to do what you're trying to do.
And the journey there sucks because it's Earthquake City every round.
She needs to gather up all these old dinosaurs to sing this song. This little lullaby that she needs to make herself the final version of God. You can't stop that either.
You lose, and the journey also sucked. Chrysalis. It's long and boring.
Very long. It's the first 2-part world that we've experienced thus far.
200 quests.
277 to be
Almost
exact.
300 quests!
If you add together the quest of Caramel, Novus, and Lemuria, it equals just Chrysalis.
Nerf the world, make it skip World Elixir immediately.
At the end, you finally get to fight Morganth, beat her. Actually, she beats herself. She loses to Glass.
Falls out of a window.
But the bad thing is, to beat Morganth, you have to open up the antagonist of the following arc.
I like that part.
This was longer than 30 seconds, but guess what else is? Chrysalis. Polaris.
Best world.
Best world by far. The best paced world. The most leveling up you do. It's goofy. Every character's like, Viva la resistance! You have to liberate the world, and then you have to fight the child of Satan. I like the trend that this starts where the first world of every new arc just starts off goofy as can be, and the main boss doesn't come out until the end of that world.
I also like the part with the walrus. She's
Best world, you fight the rat, which is the son of Grandfather Spider.
Well, that's a little bit odd, isn't it?
Bit odd, isn't it?
That's where you meet Ozzy, one of my favorite characters. This world is a lot of dusty sand like Crocotopia, but it feels a lot less boring.
And this sand, the sands of time, and they can control time, and you're trying to stop another son of Satan.
You stop a son of Satan, and then you go stop Satan later on as well. Very eventful world.
Stopping the villain means nothing, because he's just trying to trick you. Imperia, another long world that came in 2 parts. This is where the story peaks, in my opinion. The lore gets so deep, the characters are so deep. It's got Star Trek references. You come here in a flying ship instead of just walking through a door.
You meet Spark, Pork, Beans. Dang it, Pork, I'm a doctor, not a urologist.
You meet the final son of Satan, the Bat, convince him to be on your team. You fight his other 2 brothers, and at the end, you rectify Raven, Spider, and Bartleby, everybody's friends. And did I mention that you created a monstrosity?
Welcome up to Caramel, the sweetest place we know. I love this world. It's very goofy. I like the hamsters.
The writers were throwing shade at their bosses, and they were like, labor rights, you're overworking us. This world's all based around candy, and there's this company ran by Nana that runs the chocolate and candy production, mistreating workers. The candy comes alive, and at the end, you're introduced to Anti-Hero.
Young Wizard.
Also, the start of a new arc. Lemuria. IMO, the coolest setup to a world. Someone made this world in a test tube. You have to free it and then go in there and introduce yourself to these people from the outside world they didn't know existed.
And then you build up a bunch of you build up 8 awesome heroes, and then you make me absolutely hate all of them in the end when I have to fight all 8 of them at the same time, and they're all cheating 1 quintillion times apiece.
So the old one has this machine that can take pieces of worlds and throw them together like puzzle pieces, which is cool because you'll see areas you recognize from other worlds just slightly tweaked. This world also introduces the first ever fight where there's 8 opponents on the other side.
The aforementioned fight where you fight all 8 heroes at the same time. Novus. Design made this world.
No, Design is this world.
He is also a person and the world.
This is a trippy world This antimatter that you sparked in Imperia grows into this world. It also hits on the same topic of caramel, of corporate greed and monopolization and other big words that I've heard before but don't know what they mean.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism might be in there somewhere.
Imperialism. And you make everyone mad at you at the end of the world. You have no friends. You go from being the most respected wizard in the spiral to public enemy number 1. The newest world in the spiral, Wallaroo.
Good day, mate.
It's Outback themed, not the steakhouse.
But they also coincidentally have Bloomin' Onion available here.
You go here searching after design because he shut himself off after Novus. You have to try to reach him, and you finally make contact at the end, and then it's about making the spiral not hate you anymore.
I like Design's threat at the end. I could kill all of you! I don't want to.
But I don't want to, and I don't have to. You also make the Cabal and the Arcanum friends again. It makes me hopeful for what's to come in the future.
Selena Gomezolopolis.
Selenopolis. It's not technically a world, but it's the newest content to come out, so we might as well cover it. You have all your friends here except for my favorite friend.
But we did get Ozzy back, so I'm pretty happy about that. This world's pretty cool. I like it a lot.
It introduces a lot of new lore. It's all moon-based and like polymorphs, and all your opponents in this world are polymorphed by this being named Khonsu. And then you get to the end, and it's just this guy from Celestia who has a machine that can polymorph things.
This is one of like the coldest worlds ever, and it's epic. I feel like it was kind of underused.
The end is the part I like the most. There's another wizard that came from Earth. Probably going to be the antagonist of the next arc.
They say everything you can imagine, multiply it by 6, and that's how scary this person is.
And somehow, we've never heard of them before.
Yes.
Core?
I'd say this has been a tremendous episode of Core and Bortek.
The most yappiest.
Do Core and Bortek.
Ow! Go check these worlds out.
The last world of Arc 5 is going to be Ohio.